Let's talk about the Millionaire Matrix, my 3-step approach to mastering money once and for all. Welcome to the podcast, Manifesting Big Money Fast. My name is Jeanine Hurd. I am so excited that you found this podcast or that you're tuning in to another episode. This podcast is all about manifestation, big money, energetics, spirituality, how it's all connected, and most importantly, how you can increase your bank account right now. So let's dive in today's episode. Welcome back, money lovers, to another powerful episode. We've just officially entered a new month, meaning we are having a new topic for the podcast, and that is actually till the end of the year. It's all going to be about money and sales. So if this is something you truly desire to master, make sure you're listening to all the podcast episodes, the VIP episodes, the programs which are going to happen in the last 3 months of this year are going to be insane, super powerful. And we are starting immediately today with my framework, I believe is the absolute game changer to money. Because how many money programs have you taken? How much have you learned? And it seems like no matter what happens, you're always kind of going back to the initial state. And for a lot of people, this really shows up as in you're learning to make more money. You are making more money, but then at the end of the month, you're still at zero or negative or just a little bit left in the account. And it's easy to say, oh, it's just because with more income, also your expenses grow. Yes, that's true. But it's also true that if you couldn't manage your money before, you also will not be able to manage more money. And that's why this approach is so powerful. The Millionaire Matrix consists of 3 parts. First, super easy. You have to learn how to make more money. That is only how can more money can come into your business. Sales is part of it, but also pricing, mindset. There's so many aspects which are part of how to make more money. And depending on where you are, this is relevant to you in different degrees. Meaning, let's say you're still employed. Then obviously how you can make money, people always say is limited because I only get paid once a month. It's not true. Back in the day, I had a program in German. It was called Money Mind Mastery. It was all about money. Different than what I would teach today, but back then, it was the knowledge I had, and I thought it was already pretty mind-blowing. People had insane results. Even my mom bought the program. It was 10,000 euros back then for 3 months. Doesn't matter the details. Anyways, she's employed. She's working for a big multinational company, receiving a salary once a month. And she's like, yeah, how am I going to do this? I'm like, just ask for it. And it really blew our mind, our socks in the community, because all of a sudden she had all those creative ideas and impulses, what I teach, especially when you are an employee, how to create value and how to receive increases, salary increases. To make the story short, she was the one that actually tripled her monthly income because she had so many ideas and got paid for the ideas and the creativity she brought to the table. So the how is really not your task. And it sounds silly and it sounds like, yeah, but how am I going to do this then? You keep showing up. You do the things, which is when you are a business owner, you sell, you show up, you write potent content. I don't know, you have a podcast, you stick to your consistency, you stick to your plan. You learn all the things you feel you have to learn in order to feel confident to sell. And I don't want you to see and like, oh, I gotta learn this sales tactics and this and this and this. Yes, you can, but you don't have to. For instance, when I literally didn't know anything about sales and I didn't sell, this was super, super early. It was like really the first days. I bought a sales script And I thought, oh, this is cool. I'm just going to ask the question that's here. And it really helped me. And I sold with a sales script immediately afterwards. However, after having this confidence and understanding how the sales psychology worked, I felt like this script limited me. I wanted to ask different questions. I wanted to a more freestyle approach, which I'm doing till today. However, in the beginning, I think strategy and like a script and those kind of things can be very beneficial because it kind of gives you an idea of what you could do. It doesn't mean you have to do it. And that's why I'm saying when it comes to learn how to make more money, and obviously there's going to be more programs in which we will dive into this first step, it's more important to me that you feel confident around sales. And there are many, many different components which are part of it, which would be too much now for this podcast episode since it's just a first overview. Step number 2, I see most people not even like, never thought about it, never contemplated this at all. And most people also don't teach it. And this is really, you have to learn how to hold money, aka to have money. So I see this over and over again, and I'm totally guilty of this too. Every time I received more money in my business for probably the first 2 years, it was still gone at the end of the month. Because that was my spending pattern. Like I receive money and the first thing I'm doing is spending it. So can you see if this is my underlying behavior? It doesn't matter how much money I have because I've programmed myself money's there to be spent. So if we don't understand this, what our behavior is when money comes in, and if we don't have a plan how to manage the money, we will always most likely not have any money. And it doesn't matter how much money is coming in. That's why I think it's always very interesting when people talk about like, oh, this is how much money I make, but let's talk about how much money you have. And this very often is a huge difference. So step number 2 is very personal. It's going to be very deep. However, once you understand this, trust me, this is a work you only have to do once in a lifetime, because once you understand your patterns, your behavior, you know what to do, aka what not to do anymore, and automatically you start to have and hold, and you can manage money. And I'm really excited to teach you guys all about this second step, because the moment I've implemented this, I literally saw results of having more money within 2 weeks. This was out of all 3 steps. Step number 2 brings you the fastest, immediate, almost close to immediate results. So stay tuned. This is going to be a game changer. And then step number 3 is, now we've learned how to have more money, how to make more money. So more money is coming in. We've learned how to hold this. And now with the money we hold, aka the money we have, it's cool to multiply. I love the word multiply instead of investing. So, and that just means putting the money to things that can be all kind of things which generate more money for us. So that actually helps us creating our own economy, because everything we receive basically now stays in our economy and we create it into something valuable that creates more money. And for instance, this can be something like a luxury photo shoot. It doesn't have to be a traditional investment like funds, real estate, etc., cryptocurrencies. This is not what I'm talking about. There's so much more to this. And this is really creating items in your own, first of all, it's basically learning how to create your own economy and how to buy and spend your money on things that create more value for you, your life, and your business. And this step, I think, is so powerful because most people kind of get it wrong for me. And they immediately go to, oh, Let me skip step number 1 and 2 and immediately go to step number 3 is, let me invest, let me multiply. But what happens, and I see this over and over and over again, people are skipping step number 1 and 2, and then they invest, and then, the investment goes down. The investment isn't profitable. And this is not a coincidence, because you have to learn first how to make more money, and you have to learn how to hold, aka have more money. Because if those two parts, 1 and 2, are basically 0, now more money comes in, but you multiply it by 0, that means also the investments will go down to 0. Because if our pattern is subconsciously, money comes in and I gotta spend it, which is true for most people, and not investing, creating my own economy, like spending. The energy of I spend, it's gone. Then you will also spend your money on investments. Oh, guess what? Put my money there, it's gone. So the investment, because you spend money on it, has to reflect that. And that's why it has to go down. Let that sink in. Listen to this part over and over again. It's a very powerful approach, the Millionaire Matrix. Step number 1 is you have to learn how to make more money, how money functions, the DNA of money, what money is, why we use money, how you create more. And this is, looking back, I am beyond grateful for being an investment banker for 5 years, to working so closely with the biggest amounts of money and seeing how money was created. Not always that I believed, oh wow, this is truly cool for humanity. The ethical part is obviously a whole different conversation. But just seeing how easily money is made, basically how it's printed every single day. And once we understand the energetics, the DNA of money, step number 1 becomes so easy. And in my eyes, we don't need the sales tactics and strategies. However, I fully understand if this is completely new to you, how it can be beneficial and helpful till you find your own way to sales. Step number 2 we talked about is how to hold money, to have more money. Like once it comes in, not to spend it, actually to have it, not just only have it in your account. Because what happens the moment we have the money, we also have to learn and master something else. And that is really, we have to master, with more money comes more responsibility, comes more power. Can you handle that? Are you ready for that? And if not, gotta investigate why you're boycotting yourself. And if you are having currently more, like right now you're saying, oh, that's not me, I'm fine, I love power, let me bring it on, more power, it's cool. But then we're checking at your bank account and there's not the amount in you desire to have. And don't misunderstand me. There's the difference between I just have a couple $1,000 in here, like 10K, 20K versus 200K and I desire to have 500K or 2 million in cash. It's always okay to desire more. But you clearly can see for yourself if there's a pattern of you spending money stupidly, I would like to say, and on stupid things. And third, once we've mastered this, to have more money in our bank account, in our life, then we can learn how to multiply this money, or better said, I love this picture of creating our own economy in which money circulates. I love you. I can't wait to kick off the next month with you, which are going to be very, very powerful. If you feel this is something you truly desire to master in the next month, make sure you stick around. I'm going to be sharing so much content on Instagram, here in the podcast, and they're going to be amazing offers. So I love you. I will talk to you soon. Let's make money. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast Manifesting Big Money Fast. I've got 3 very important announcements for you. First, if you like what you're listening, make sure you leave some gratitude, leave a review, share the podcast. Second, If you love what you're listening to and you want more of that, there is a VIP version available. That means you will have access to 3 podcast episodes every single week. Simply check out the store, courses.richandhappiness.com, or the link in the show notes. And lastly, there are always monthly money activations happening around the new moon and full moon. If that is something you're interested, check out the store for the next money activation. I love you and I can't wait to see your beautiful face soon again.